so I won't go on too much, but just to kind of describe the difference kind of between a mobility session and a flexibility session when it comes to yoga. So a lot of yoga teachers will focus mostly on flexibility, and flexibility is more static or passive stretching into the muscles around a joint, whereas mobility is a more active stretching into the muscles through movement. So you're actually engaging the muscle as you stretch through it, you're protecting the joint, and you're doing more real movements to your range of motion. So one, it's a lot safer, so that you're never really overstretching. You're kind of going with your natural range of movement and developing that natural range of movement with the movement. But two, it's a more functional movement for your body. So, I mean, I talk to my athletes a lot about it, but even just for your day-to-day, it's a more natural way of working with your body. We talked about on Tuesday just how different joints require different things. So you either kind of breaking it really simply, you're either looking for a mobility or a stability in a joint. So, and they usually kind of work in a stacked approach. So say for your ankles, we're looking for mobility, lots of movement. In our knees, we're looking for stability. So again, I talked to you about how you flex your foot to protect your knee. And that way you're actually activating the muscles around the knee. That's how you're protecting it and keeping it stable. Mobility, very much so in the hips. Also, you still want your stability, but it's achieved in different ways. The actual joint itself is looking for mobility. Lower back is stability. And then, as I was saying before, if we're not mobile in the hips, we start pulling on that lower back, which is supposed to remain stable. And it kind of shifts it into the mobility stage, and then it gets sore. And it's the same with the middle back. We're looking for mobility. Again, if we don't have mobility in the middle back, we're going to be putting stress on the lower back. And again, that results in that lower back pain, which is really common, especially in the Western world, when we have a lot of those kind of postural alignments relating to our work and our day-to-day. Moving up through the chain, again, shoulders, they require quite a lot of stability. So I'll talk about like when we're in tabletop, pressing into the ground. So that's actually activating your shoulder muscles to protect the joints. If you don't press into the ground, you see I'm dumping in and I'm causing all sorts of issues there. And then neck, again, we want some nice mobility here. So without talking too much about it, but just to kind of explain what we're looking for in the different parts, and I'll kind of refer back to them a little bit as we move through the class. So we're going to sit back onto the heels this morning. So again, you can tuck the toes under, sit back onto the feet, whatever feels good. If this is particularly uncomfortable for the knees, to create a wee bit of space, you can always pop your tail in underneath the knee capsule and then sit back, and that just creates a wee bit more space. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling, draw the shoulders up to the ears, and then bring them down together, down the spine. And just feel that nice length, so really feel that space within the spine. We're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up. Interlocking fingers, exhale, pressing palms to ceiling and then pressing them gently away out front. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, arms out, reaching up, gaze goes up. Exhale, interlocking fingers and then pressing it away, stretching through the shoulders. Last one. Lovely. From here, we're going to bring the hands to rest on the hips with the fingers pointed downwards. So just rest the palms of the hands on the hips here. Taking a nice deep breath, we're going to inhale, press the hips forward. As we exhale, I'm actually going to turn to the side here. We're going to literally keep that length in the spine until we're about 45 and then gently sit back onto the heels. And then we're going to inhale, press the hips forward until the hips are over the knees. And as we exhale this time, tuck the toes under, come back at our 45 and then gently sit back onto the heels. So inhale, hips forward. Exhale, untuck the toes. So we're engaging the core to get to our 45 and then we're gently stretching through the quads here. Inhale, press the hips forward. Exhale, tuck the toes under. So we're looking for a little bit of mobility in the ankles and feet here. Inhale forward, exhale untuck. Just continue a few more with your own breath. So for some people this will feel very easy. For others, depending on where that flexibility is, both in the quads, the hips and the feet, it could be quite challenging. So it's just something you can work on nice and slowly Last one forward. Tuck the toes under, last one back. And then gently bring it back to center. Lovely. So I'll just come to meet you here. We can tuck the toes under here for this one. A little bit of space between the knees, about a fist apart, just so you feel nicely balanced in the lower body. We're going to inhale the arms up. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right, and we're going to reach that right hand to touch onto that left heel, or in that general direction. So if it doesn't quite get there, maybe just hold on to the back of the leg. We're going to inhale, extend that left arm toward the ceiling, and as we exhale, press the hips forward as we reach back through the left fingertips. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back to center. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the left and then reach that left hand back to touch onto that right heel. Inhale, stretch toward the ceiling with that right hand. And as we exhale, press the hips forward and extend back overhead. For 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back to center. A little bit of movement here. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center with control. Exhale, twist to the right, extend. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. And then exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. From here, we're going to bring the hands to the hips. We can untuck that back toe. And then we're going to extend that right foot so the outer blade is parallel with the outside edge of the mat. If you feel that left knee a little bit cranky, you can always put a little towel underneath the kneecap. From here, we're going to place the left fingertips on the ground. We're going to inhale that right arm up, and as we exhale, we're going to extend that right arm overhead. Really press the hips forward, keep the chest open. See if we can draw that arm right up in line with the ear here. Maybe take the gaze up toward the fingertips. From here, we're going to inhale that right leg off the ground and keep the right foot nice and active. So to get to here, we're using our hip flex. And then to get lift, we're using our glute. We're going to inhale here, exhale. And then we're going to inhale, touch the right elbow to touch the right knee, drawing it into the center. Exhale, extend it out, hovering that right foot about an inch off the ground. Inhale, right elbow, right knee in. Exhale, extend it out. Inhale it in. Exhale, extend. 3 more. So again, it's a slow, controlled movement. So the more you slow that movement down, the more you're having to actively engage with those muscles. So it's that mind-body connection. Last one. And release that foot down. We're going to gently bring that right hand to the hip, and then with our core, bring ourselves back up to stand. From here, we're going to inhale both arms up. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right, swivel on that right heel, so we're drawing the toe toward the face and then reach in the direction of that right foot. We're going to inhale back to center, swivel on the foot, and then as we exhale, twist to the right. And a little bit into the hamstring here. Inhale back to center. Three more. Getting a little bit lower each exhale. Again, listen to where that's into that knee. Last one. Extend that left leg out fully. Again, pressing the outer blade of the foot into the mat. We're going to bring those right. Extend that left arm overhead. From here, we're going to lift that left leg off the mat, keeping the foot engaged. Hold for 3, for 2, And one. Inhale, bend left knee, left elbow in. Exhale, extend it out, hovering that left foot off the ground. Inhale it in. Exhale, extend. Full extension in that left arm. Inhale in. Exhale out. You can follow that gaze to the left hand if you want to challenge your balance a little bit here. And just notice that left arm. So we want to try to keep it up in line with the ears. So really pressing the hips forward and drawing the shoulder blades together behind us. Last two. Last one. Slowly release that left. Engage the core and gently bring yourselves up to center. Lovely. From here, inhale, arms up. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the left, swivel on that left heel. Left toe toward the knee. Inhale, back to center, swivel. Exhale, twist to left, a little bit into the hamstring. Inhale. Exhale, swivel. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Two more. Control the movement, nice and slow. Really reaching through those fingertips. Almost imagining that you're holding a ball between your hands. Nice active arms. And then gently back to center. Hands back to the hips. We're going to step the knees together, sit back onto the heels, and then we're going to roll over onto our backs. Nice and easy. Just check in that you have a towel within reach here. And lie back onto the mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat to start with. We're going to hug the right knee in. Extend out fully through that left foot, pressing away through the left heel. The left hand rests on the left hip to keep that side of the body grounded. And we're just going to make a few little circles into that right hip. Again, it doesn't matter what direction, we're going to do both. And then we're going to bring the fingertips to the knee, making those circles a little bit larger. And then we're going to take that arm, if it feels good, we're going to take that hand off the leg altogether and just continue making those really large circles. And at this stage, we can bring the full length of the leg into it. So we can extend out fully through the heel, draw the leg across the body into the chest, draw the hip as wide as you can. So nice full circular movements, feeling that movement within the joint, but we're engaging all those little muscles around the joint to get that movement. So think about where that movement is coming from. And then reverse in the other direction. So again, if one or two of those muscles around the joint aren't activating, aren't working, that's where you're going to start to feel a resistance to that lovely circular movement. So even just noticing, where is that resistance? Where does my circle lose its circular form? And what muscle is working or not working there? So again, it's a lovely way of just touching in with the body. And then gently hugging that right knee in. We're going to press the shin into the hand as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to draw that right knee outside the line of the body. Getting a little bit deeper into the hip, feel that space across the front of the pelvis. Every inhale, press in to the hand, and every exhale, draw that hip a little bit wider. So we're activating as we inhale, and then we're deepening as we exhale. Last breath here. Taking a little bit more space. And then slowly we're going to inhale back to center. From here, we're going to reach for a towel. We're going to wrap it around the ball of that right foot. Drawing the arms into the waist here. And then we're going to inhale, press the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, draw the toes toward the face. And just notice how the hamstring feels here. It's quite early in the morning. We don't want to go too deep. So do keep a little bend to the knee. See if you can activate the quad muscle to access a little bit more space into the hamstring. So it's a lot more protected stretch into that leg. Every inhale, press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Every exhale, see if we can draw those toes a little bit closer toward the face. You might feel this a little bit into the lower leg too here. We want to feel it into the belly of the hamstring, not near the knee, not near the sit bone. So again, we're going to bring a little bit of movement here. So we're going to keep the right hand on the tail, keep the left hand on the ground or onto the hip. And as we inhale, we're going to draw that left foot up to meet the right, keeping the lower back engaged on the mat. As we exhale, gently lowering, hovering the foot about an inch off the ground. Inhale, left foot up to meet right. Exhale, gently lowering. Keeping that stretch in the right foot. Inhale it up. Exhale, lower. Little engagement of the core here. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Last one, inhale up. And then gently release that left foot fully down. From here, we're going to inhale center. And as we exhale, we're going to allow that right leg drop out to the right, getting a little bit deeper into that hip. Again, notice if the left side of the body is coming off the mat, maybe placing that left hand on the hip, maybe taking the gaze over the left shoulder. As we inhale, pressing the sole of the foot into the tail, working the heel away and working the toe toward the face. And as we exhale, just allow that hip drop out a little bit more. See if we can keep the foot up in line with the hip here though. It's not about the foot touching the ground if it's back down in line with the knee. We're looking for space into the front of the hips. And right into that right hip joint. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back to center. Hugging that right knee in toward the chest. We're going to bend the left knee, bring the foot flat onto the ground, and then we're going to rest that right ankle just below the left knee, coming into our figure 4. We can place the child off to the side here. Again, checking in, we're protecting that knee. So we're drawing that right toe toward the knee to stabilize the knee joint. Working the left heel toward the body. Working the right knee away from the body. If this feels good, we're going to inhale the left foot off the ground, bring the shin parallel to the ceiling, interlocking hands behind the back of that left hamstring. And if we find we're rolling into the upper body or rolling off the lower back, you can use the towel here as a little extension of the arms, wrap it around the back of the hamstring so we can keep that space in the chest. As we inhale, lengthen the spine, open the chest, and as we exhale, work that left knee a little bit closer toward the face, but try not to rock off that lower back. We're going to keep that hold. This time as we inhale, we're going to point the left foot up toward the ceiling, stretching into the front of the foot. And as we exhale, draw those left toes toward the face. So we're inhale, pointing. Exhale, toe to face. A few more with your own breath. So we're trying to bring a little bit of mobility into those lovely ankles. And then we're going to create a few nice big circles to the right. And again, like in our hips, notice where the movement becomes restricted. So what muscles aren't switching on here, or what muscles are tight, active, inactive. So again, it's just touching in with our body. So these are our grounding structures, our feet, our ankles. That's our foundation. So if they're not working, they're going to cause loads of issues up the rest of the body. So we need to get these sorted. And again, the issues in our ankles or our feet can be caused by things that are happening further up the body too, but it's kind of working in tandem. We're just going to reverse that circle, noticing what are the stronger muscles, what are the weaker muscles. So again, just connecting our mind to our body. Lovely. We're going to release that left foot down. Cross the right leg fully over the left. Extend both arms out and widen with the shoulders. We're going to shift the hips a little bit to the right. And then allow both knees drop over to the left. Coming into our first lovely spinal twist. Again, keep that right shoulder grounded into the mat. Every inhale, we're thinking about filling the belly. Every exhale, just allow those knees melt over a little bit more. Gaze goes over the right fingertips. So again, mobilizing the spine here, right down into that lower back. Nice little release into the right glute here. So really allowing those knees rock over as much as they can on that exhale. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly inhale back to center. Uncross the legs. We're going to hug that left knee into the chest. Extend out fully through the right foot. Really actively pressing away through the right heel and allowing the back of the knee melt its way toward the mat. So we're going to keep the left hand on the shin, right hand on the hip. And again, we're going to make those nice circles into that left hip. So we're controlling the movement here with the hand on the shin. Then we're going to move those fingertips to the knee so that circle becomes a little bit bigger, but we're still controlling it with that arm's length. And then if you feel stable, and only if you feel stable, you can take that hand away altogether and move into those larger rotations. And then see if we can bring the leg into it too. So really press the way through the heel, leg across the body into the chest, open nice and wide into the hips. So full movement into that hip and into that left leg. Feel that lovely release into the left glute as the knee moves its way across the body. That release into the hip as the knee moves into the chest and outwards. And then we're going to reverse it in the other direction. And again, just even notice how that feels from the other side. So is it a little bit smoother on the other side? Was it a little bit more resistant? So again, just notice those little imbalances, acknowledge them. Thank them, something that we need to work on. But again, often when we don't do these mobility exercises, it's very hard to know what is going on. So we need to slow the movement down and go through our nice active range of motion and then figure out what's happening. Lovely. We're going to hug that left knee in, pressing the shin into the hand, and as we exhale, we're going to draw that left knee outside the line of the body. Again, keeping that right hand on the hip, feeling that space across the front of the pelvis. Every inhale, pressing the shin into the hand, and every exhale, working that hip out a little bit wider. And again, go within your own range. So it should feel like a nice little release on the inner thigh into the hip joint here, but don't go too deep. So again, respect your body. Notice when it's too much, and just allow the breath to take you a little bit deeper. Last breath here. And then slowly we're going to draw that knee back to center. We're going to reach for a towel. We're going to wrap it around the ball of that left foot this time. Again, holding the towel in its long ends, arms are tucked into the waist. And then we're going to inhale, press the left sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. And we exhale, draw those toes toward the face. Again, feeling this into the belly of the hamstring. Notice if the leg is shaking in the stretch here. If it's shaking, it's most likely that you're not actually stretching, you're contracting the muscles. So if you're just contracting it, we're never going to get into that stretch. So just back off the stretch a little bit, maybe bend the knee a little bit, and then gradually work your way back into it. See if you can activate the front leg muscles, so into the quad here to get a little bit more extension in behind the leg. We're going to bring the grip just into the left hand, placing the right hand either on the hip or the ground beside us, whatever feels good. And then we're going to inhale that right foot, nice and active through the right foot, up in line with the left. And then as we exhale, we're going to gently lower that right foot, hovering at about an inch off the ground. Inhale, right foot comes up to meet left the whole way. Exhale, gently lower. Continue, a few more breaths. So we're activating the core, we're activating those hip muscles. And as we slowly move the leg down back to the floor, we're actually activating that hamstring as well. Last two. Last one. And then gently release that right foot fully down. Right hand comes back to rest on the hip, or we can extend it out in line with the shoulder, whatever feels good. And as we exhale, we're going to allow that left foot drop out to the left. Take the gaze over the right fingertips or to the right. Every inhale, we're pressing the sole of the foot into the towel, drawing the toes toward the face. Every exhale, allowing that leg drop out a little bit more. So I've got the couch here, which is just lovely. So again, if you do feel particularly tight in the hips, you feel a little bit unstable in the lower back, you can always use the prop of the chair or the wall to take the full weight of the foot. And that allows you to passively stretch into the muscle here. So we're going for a little bit more of an active stretch here, but if you want to just work on the hips on their own, it's a really nice way of just allowing the rest of the body relax as you work into that opening. Last two. Last one. Slowly inhale back to center. We're going to hug the left knee into the chest. Bending that right knee, bring the foot flat onto the ground, and then we're going to rest that left ankle just below the right knee. We can drop the tail off to the side. Working that right heel toward the bum, nice strong flex into the left foot. And we're pressing away through that left knee. So we're getting a nice little bit of a rotation into that left hip. Inhale, right leg off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and then either interlocking the hands or the tail around the back of that hamstring. See if you can walk the shoulder blades together, keeping that lovely space into the chest as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're working that right knee toward the face and that left knee away. So again, keeping that strong flex in the left foot. So we shouldn't be feeling this into the left knee. As we inhale, we're going to point the right foot in toward the ceiling, stretching into the front of the foot. And as we exhale, drawing the right toes toward the face. So inhale, pointing. Exhale, toe to face. And again, we might find one movement a little bit easier. Maybe we're easier at pointing, maybe we're easier at flexing. So whatever movement is more in your habit, it's going to feel a little bit more normal. But we want to try to achieve balance between both sides. We're going to make a few nice big circles to the right, as big and as smooth and as circular as we can make it. So these little mobilizers are also very good for strengthening into the ankles and lower legs. So as I said, the mobilizers allow us to engage the muscles around the joint as we stretch into them. So it's a nice active, engaged practice, but we're still achieving that flexibility. It's just a little bit more within our control. And then reverse it in the other direction. And again, notice the little nails, notice the little points of resistance, and we're trying to just smoothen them out with the movement to start with. Lovely. We're going to slowly release that right foot down, crossing the left leg, fully over the right, extending both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. And then we're going to shift the hips a little bit to the left, and then allow both knees drop over to the right. Again, we might need to shift the hips a little bit more to the left, until that left hip is stacked over the right and we can get that full twist into the spine. Gaze is over the left fingertips, so the opposite ways to where the knees are falling. Really gluing both shoulders into the mat here. As we inhale, see if we can draw the breath deep into the belly. And as we exhale, relax a little bit deeper into that twist. Again, feeling that little release into the left glute. Just massaging the full length of the spine, wringing out the core muscles. For 3, nice big belly breaths. For 2, and 1, and slowly release it back to center. We're going to uncross the legs. We're going to hug both knees in toward the chest, crisscross the ankles, and take 3 or 4 rolls forward and back along the mat. Again, using that motion to really massage into the full length of the spine, from the base of the neck right down to the base of the spine. And when we've taken our 3 or 4 rolls, try to engage with the core to draw ourselves up to seat. From here, we're going to come straight onto our hands and knees, so into our tabletop. So just see where those hands are at. So we want to spread the fingers really wide, like they're our roots of our trees. We're pressing the finger pads and knuckles into the mat. So we shouldn't be able to lift the finger pads and knuckles. Nice and light onto the wrists. Shoulders over, elbows over wrists, elbow creases forward. And again, we're activating the shoulders here. So we're all the time pressing the ground away so we can feel that strength in the shoulders. Knees are about hip width distance apart. We're going to inhale, press the chest forward, gaze up toward the ceiling, arching through the spine. Exhale, pressing into the ground, curling through the spine, gaze back toward the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching through the spine. Exhale, curling through, stretching through those shoulder blades. Inhale, forward and up, a little bend to the elbows all the time. Exhale, curling through and release. Continue with your own breath, maybe closing down the eyes and just notice how it feels as opposed to what it looks like. Try to make the movement as flowy and as organic as you can. So try to take away any little jerky movements, make it nice and smooth. Think about the blood flow, energy flow throughout the spine. So again, spine mobilization is probably one of the most important mobilizations. So when you think the older we get, those joints, they dry out a little bit, especially if we don't move into them. So keeping that movement, keeping the tissues nice and alive so that the joints don't dry out, they don't fuse. And really it's only by just keep moving is the best way of preventing that. Just enjoying that movement. Gently we're going to release back into tabletop. We can open the eyes. Just shift the knees back about 4 or 5 inches. And then we're going to sit back onto the heels into a child's pose, pressing the ground away out front. From here, we're going to bend the elbows and we're going to gently shift the chest forward as we inhale, the whole way to the front of the mat. And then we're going to lift the chest forward. We're going to open the heart and draw those shoulders back. So we're coming into a little variation on our upward dog, but the legs are on the ground here. Exhale, pressing it back into child's pose. Little bit of movement here. Inhale, chest moves forward along the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in. Draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, sitting back into our child's pose. Keep the knees nice and wide here. Inhale, chest moves forward along the mat. Opening the heart, drawing the shoulder blades back. Exhale, sitting back into our child's pose. 2 more like that. So again, try to make the movement as slowly as you can. Last one. Meeting back in our child's pose. From here, stepping back into our tabletop, we're going to bring the knees together. Really pressing the ground away out front, tucking the toes under, and then pressing the hips toward the ceiling, drawing the heels back toward the ground. And then we're just going to step the feet apart until we're about hip-width distance apart as we move into our downward dog. So again, imagine ourselves like little upside-down V's here. Pressing the ground away, draw the chest toward the mat, but keeping those shoulder blades engaged. We're going to lift the hips toward the ceiling, opening that lower back. And as we exhale, drawing the heels toward the ground. And then gently just walk out the feet. Paddle them out, nice and easy. Maybe bringing a little swagger into the hips, feeling a nice little bit of space into the side waist, maybe looking out underneath opposite armpits, getting a little stretch in through the waist here. So again, just gently wakening up the lower body as we keep that space in the upper body. Looking forward between the hands, we're going to gently walk to the front of the mat, nice and easy. In a forward fold, we're going to step the feet apart, so they could be the width of the mat apart, they could be a little bit wider, and just allow the fingertips touch to the ground. We're keeping a full extension into the legs. So when I say full extension, I always mean with a slight bend in the knees, so we're never locking into the knee joints. Fingertips rest down. We're throwing the weight back into the heels and hips here. Feel that lovely space in the lower back. Keep the left fingertips on the ground. We're going to flip the right palm to face us. And we're going to inhale that right arm up toward the ceiling, extending the arm toward the ceiling, working that right shoulder back. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, gently release, forward fold. Inhale, left arm up and open. Really draw that left shoulder back, active left arm. Weight is back into the hips and heels. Feel a little release in the inner thigh for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, forward fold. Little bit of movement here. Inhale, right arm up and open, twist. Exhale, fold, release. Inhale, left arm up and open, twist. Exhale, release. Continue with your own breath. So the gaze goes up to that extended arm. As we exhale, just allow the body go fully limp. Everything relaxes on that exhale. Active opening on the inhale. Passive relaxation on the exhale. Even sigh it out in the exhale. Just really let it go. Last one, both sides. And gently release fully into that fold. We're going to tuck the chin in and slowly, slowly we're going to rise up to stand. Head comes up last. Lovely. If you want to take a drink, now's a nice time. We're going to get a little bit more into our hips here for the next little sequence. So again, we'll start at the front of the mat. Feet are grounded, hip width distance apart, hands to heart center. We're going to inhale, step that right foot back, and we're going to bring both feet so that they're parallel to the outer edges of our mats. So nice wide-legged stance here. And then we're going to splay the feet out at about 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So feel nicely grounded here. From here, we're going to bend into the knees, coming into a little bit of a squat. And we're going to gently just rock the hips side to side. So we're inhaling center, exhaling. Inhale and center, extend, exhaling, bending to the right. So again, I want you to work with your own breath here. Everyone's going to be very different into how the hips feel, particularly first thing in the morning. We're keeping the spine nice and long. We're keeping the core engaged. We're pressing the chest forward. Again, if you feel a little bit more stable by placing the hands on the legs, by all means do, so you don't have to keep them in the heart center. Every exhale, see if we can get a little bit deeper into those hips. Pressing back through the hips, pressing forward through the chest. And again, listen to your own body. As deep as we can within our own range of motion. If you want to bring it into the hamstrings, we can always pivot on the heels, draw the toes toward the face. Again, only if it feels good. Slow, controlled movements. So we're working the muscles around the hip joints, getting that stretch, but also strengthening at the same time. Last one, center. Exhale. And then back to center. Staying in our squat here, we're going to place the hands onto the thighs. Fingers are pointing forward. We're going to draw the chest back. We're going to look back over that right shoulder. Draw the left shoulder forward and the right shoulder back. Inhale back to center. Look back over the left shoulder and twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. 3 more both sides. And again, notice how your hips feel. If it's a little bit too low in the squat, by all means, back off and just work on that nice twist and rotation. Last one. Really working through the spine here. And then gently back to center. Staying in our squat, we're going to bring the hands to heart center. We're going to inhale, extend through the legs, bring the arms together overhead, pressing the palms together. And as we exhale, hands to heart, lowering into our squat. Inhale, nice big circles, lengthen through the legs, gaze goes up. Exhale, hands to heart, lowering into our squat. Inhale, lengthen up with control. Exhale, gently lowering a little bit more each exhale. Inhale, lengthen up, gaze goes up. Exhale, lower. 4 more with your own breath. I want you to feel those glutes activate as you lower and deepen into the hips. So again, we're using those muscles around the hips to get that little bit more space and opening. So it's safe and controlled. Last one. Excellent. Extending through both legs. We're going to bring the hands to the hips, and then we're going to swivel both feet so that they're pointing toward the front of the mat again, coming onto the ball of that back foot, and with control, we're going to step that right foot up to meet left. We're going to do a couple of rounds of our sun salutations here. So when you're ready, again, we meet at the front. Feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart. And just feel all the corners of the feet rooted into the ground here. So feel that strength in our base. Hands to heart center, pressing the palms together, drawing the shoulders back. Engage the core, engage the legs, engage the glutes. So full engagement, a little bit of springiness to the knees here. When you're ready, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, left foot to meet it. We're going to hold it here in our plank. Shoulders over elbows over wrists, elbow creases forward. We shouldn't be able to lift those fingertips. If we can, just draw the chest forward a little bit more. Pressing back through the heels. Keep the legs active for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest and chin to the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in, rolling the heart forward, on tucking the toes, pressing the feet into the ground, lifting the chest. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward dog. Nice and easy, just walking it out. Again, really pressing the ground way out front, feeling those shoulders activate here. We're going to inhale the right leg up, looking forward, stepping right foot into lunge. Left foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, right foot to meet it. Again, hold it here in our plank. Where are my hips? Are they dropping? Is my bum up in the air? I want to find that nice neutral line in between. Straight line from the base of the neck, through the spine, through those active legs and out through the heels. For 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the mat. Keeping the elbows in, rolling the heart forward, arm tucking the toes, lifting the chest. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward dog. Again, checking in with the breath here. Have you been holding it? So think about that exhale. Every exhale, we're releasing a little bit deeper into that movement. Inhale, left leg up, looking forward, stepping left foot into lunge. Right foot to meet it. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round, when you're ready. Again, same starting pose. Take a drink anytime you need it. Better between flows as opposed to mid. When you're ready, meeting at the front, we're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge. Left foot to meet it. Hold in plank for 3. Don't forget to breathe for 2. And 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga if you've been practicing. Keep those elbows in. Bringing the chest forward, on tucking the toes, opening the heart. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward dog. Again, you can walk it out, or if you want to focus on stillness in your downward dog, just think about lifting the hips, activating those quads, draw the heels down. Inhale, right leg up, looking forward, stepping right foot into lunge. Left foot to meet it. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Just stopping here for a second. So a lot of people ask me, do you have to keep the legs straight and fold? I'm more concerned with you opening your back here. So if you need to keep a little bend till you feel that release of the lower back, you're already getting a stretch into the hamstrings. So don't worry about those bent knees. We're going to step left foot back to lunge. Right foot to meet it. Hold in plank for 3. For 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga down. If we're in chaturanga, that chest is moving forward. Bringing that chest out, nice and open, on tucking the toes. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward dog. Again, stillness or walking it out, whatever feels good to you. We're going to inhale that left leg up, looking forward, stepping left foot into lunge. Right foot to meet it. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Excellent. Take a drink if you need it, and we're going to go through another nice little flowy sequence, getting a wee bit deeper into the hips and hamstrings. Particularly If you suffer from tight hamstrings or you're recovering from previous injuries, always keep a little bend to the knee, okay? So don't overstretch into the hamstrings. Once you feel a little stretch into the belly of the muscle, that's plenty, because often we're actually over lengthened, okay, depending if our hips are tilted forward, which is quite common. So what we think is actually a tight hamstring. If you think I'm actually pulling my hamstring and then I keep stretching into it and then I'm going to start to cause damage. So just listen to your body here with the hamstring stuff. Okay, starting at the front. Again, feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Feel that strength in the standing pose. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. Feel the shoulder blades engage. Feel the core engage. Feel all toes grounded into the mat. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, swan dive fold. Inhale, look forward, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge. We're going to allow that right knee come down onto the mat. Inhale, both arms up in line with the ears. A little bit of a low lunge here. We're going to exhale, draw the arms out into cactus arms. Notice here if I'm dumping into my lower back, so we're just going to tip the pelvis forward, tuck the tummy in and feel that space in the lower back, and we'll actually feel an extra little stretch into the front of that right leg here. As we inhale, we're going to bring the fingertips to the ground out front, lengthen through that left leg and draw the left toe toward the face as we move the body back toward the heel. So we're getting into the hammy here, but not too deep. Exhale, back into our lunge, cactus arms. Inhale, lengthen forward, little hamstring stretch, draw the toe toward the face. Exhale, cactus lunge, a little bit deeper into those hips. Inhale it back, keep the core engaged. Exhale it forward. I want you to continue with your own breath, so don't try to match my breath here. More important that you feel in control of the movement. Again, if there's shakes, just slow it down. Try to keep the core engaged, that really helps. Use the breath. We're inhaling forward. We're exhaling back into our cactus lunge. Try to find a point of focus out in front, something that's not moving. Last one, extend. Exhale, cactus lunge. From here, we're going to bring both hands to the front of the mat. We're going to lift that right knee off the ground, and then we're going to gently allow that right foot swivel till it's parallel to the back of the mat. Engage with the core to slowly bring ourselves up into our warrior two legs. So again, a nice deep bend into that left knee. Check in the left knee is tracking over the middle toe and not out to the right, okay? So you want to keep the hips open and engaged and strong. We're pressing into the outer blade of that right foot and we're drawing those inner thighs together, so almost magnetizing the inner legs together. Extending arms out in line with the shoulders. Notice again if the bum's popped out, if the tummy is weak, we want to tilt the pelvis forward, tuck the tummy in and release that lower back. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen through that front leg. Bring the arms together overhead. Gaze goes up. Exhale, warrior two lunge. Inhale, lengthen up. Gaze follows that left hand. Exhale, warrior two lunge. Getting a little bit deeper. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lunge. Continue with your own breath. So that right foot might decide to move out a little bit. Left foot remains grounded where it's at, but if you want to get a little bit deeper into the hip, that right foot might move back. Last 3. Control the movement, exhale. Last 2. Last 1. Back into our warrior 2. From here, we're going to cartwheel both hands down either side of that foot, coming onto the ball of the back foot. We're going to step the left foot back to meet right, just walking it out here in our downward dog. From here, we're going to inhale, right leg up, looking forward. We're going to step that right knee just behind the right wrist, allowing that left knee come down onto the ground and walk that left foot back, setting up for pigeon pose. But before we go into pigeon pose, we're going to just shift over onto the right bum cheek and bring that right shin parallel to the front of the mat. So we're coming into our 90-90 here. So again, see if we can keep a strong flex into that right foot, just to protect that right knee. That back leg, again, we're going to bring that back in line so it's at 90-90 as well. And then we can bring the shin, the back shin out at 90 degrees too. So perfect 90-90s here. We're going to automatically fall over to our right side. So I want you to bring the fingertips both sides to keep the body weight even. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to walk the hands forward, coming into a little fold over that front leg. Only till you feel a nice little bit of space. Now we exhale, see if we can get a little bit deeper. Last breath. Slowly coming back to center. From here, we're going to bring the hands to heart, and then we're just going to gently swivel the legs so that we're at 90-90 at the opposite end of the mat. So we're going to see if we can do that without touching the hands to the mat. So gently swivel. We're going to do the same on the other side. So again, bringing the arms nice and wide, still in those 90-90 degrees. We're going to inhale here. As we exhale, gently fold forward, walk with those fingertips out. And again, trying to keep the weight even both sides. Keep a nice strong flex to that left foot. Inhale, lengthen through the arms. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. And just notice, I know for me anyhow, this side seems to be a lot easier, a lot more accessible. So just notice those little imbalances. What's going on? Not something we're going to fix in one yoga class, but something that's really good just to be aware of those imbalances. For 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release it back to center. Hands come to heart. Again, we're going to gently swivel over to the right. We're just going to do that a few more times. So inhale back to center. Exhale to the left and turn. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. So just continue. If you need to touch the hands down, that is fine. We're trying to do it without the hands, but to start with, you might need a little bit of help. And we're gently moving off the mat here if you're anything like me. So we're just working into that lovely controlled movement through the hips as we work from 90-90 on each side. Wherever we're at, we're going to meet back at the front of the mat. And shimmy your way back on the mat if you're like me in your office. And then from here, we're going to come back into our pigeon. So that right shin out in front, we're going to make it to be at about 45 degrees to the front of the mat. And then we're going to gently bring the hips off the ground. So now both hips are even to the front of the mat. So the bum isn't on the ground anymore. Extending back through that left leg. Keeping the fingertips on the ground, keeping that right foot flex. Again, if you want to bring that shin more parallel to the front of the mat, if it feels good for you, by all means do, but do not force the pose. We can stay here, enjoying that lovely space into the front of the body as well as the hips, or if we want to focus just into the hips, we're going to walk the hands forward as far as we can go, as far as it's comfortable, and we might rest the head down onto the mat or onto a block. And just allow that right hip open. Every inhale, thinking about lengthening through the spine, maybe walking the fingertips forward. Every exhale, just think about the hips melting toward the ground. Think about the belly, the chest, the breath. Everything nice and heavy. Think about gravity drawing you down. And we're just going to hold it here for a few more breaths. And again, if this doesn't feel good for you, by all means, go back into your 90-90. So it's still a lovely, effective release. So particularly if it's crunching into your knee here, again, if flexing your foot doesn't work, do roll over onto that right bum cheek. So don't eliminate the pose, just do a little variation on it. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly we're going to tuck the chin in, come back up onto the hands if we're not there already. And just get a nice little bit of space here. We can hold it here for an extra few breaths if you want to bring a little bit of a quad stretch into it. We're going to walk that left knee forward about half a foot, bringing the left hand to the front of the mat. We're going to bend the left knee and draw that right hand back to catch hold of the foot. And again, only if it's accessible, otherwise just continue with your pigeon. If we're here, we can press the foot into the hand as we draw the heel back toward the bum. We might even bring the hand over the toes and bend the elbow up toward the ceiling. Still coming into a little rotation here for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release that left foot down. We're going to bring both hands to the front of the mat, tucking the left toe under, gently bringing it back into our downward dog, and then gently, gently walking it out. We're going to inhale, right leg up, looking forward, stepping right foot into lunge, left foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, dropping left knee down, untucking the toe. We're going to inhale, both arms up in line with the ears. Exhale, cactus lunge, core engaged. Nice bit of space into the lower back. Inhale, lengthening forward, bringing the fingertips to the ground, drawing the right toe toward the face, sitting back toward that heel. Exhale, cactus lunge. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, cactus lunge. Really opening the heart, drawing the hips deep. Continue with your own breath. You control the movement. Inhale forward. Exhale, release into those hips. 3 more. Last 2. Keep that core engaged. Control the movement. Last 1, wherever we're at. Leaning back in our cactus lunge. We're going to bring both hands down either side of that right foot. Tucking the left toe under, coming off that left knee, drawing the left foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Engage with the core to bring ourselves up into our warrior 2 on the other side. Again, getting those alignments. Heel of the front foot, bisecting the arch of the back foot. Nice deep bend into that right knee if it feels good, and the knee is working in line with that foot, not into the left. Extend both arms out, gaze goes over that right middle finger. Hold for 3, for 2, keep the core engaged, and 1. Inhale, we're going to lengthen that front leg, bring the hands together overhead, gaze goes up. Exhale, warrior 2 lunge. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, warrior. Continue with your own breath. Gaze is following that right hand. See if we can hug the arms toward the ears and keep those shoulders away from the ears. A little bit deeper each lunge, only if it feels good in that hip. So again, we're using those muscles around the hip and into that right leg to draw ourselves into the lunge with control. Last 2. Last 1. Moving back in our warrior 2. From here, we're going to cartwheel both hands down either side of that right foot. We're going to step the right foot back to meet left, gently walk it out in our downward dog. Last little bit, we're nearly there. We're going to inhale that left leg up, looking forward. Stepping the left knee in behind the left wrist. Untucking that right foot, drawing the right knee toward the ground. And setting up for our pigeon on the other side. So we've done our 90-90s, so we're just going to focus in on our pigeon for the last little pose. Again, coming high on the fingertips. See if you can flex that left toe toward the knee to protect that left knee joint. And again, if it doesn't feel good, just drop over to the left hip, okay? We're just not getting the same space into the right hip. So listen to your body here. As we inhale, lengthening the chest, drawing those shoulders back. As we exhale, allow the hips move evenly toward the ground. If we want to get a little bit deeper into the hips, as we inhale, walk the hands forward. And as we exhale, allowing the head rest down, again, either onto a block, onto the ground, whatever feels good. We might even make a little pillow with the hands if we want to take the arms out of it. So the arms extended out front just allows us to get a little bit more space into the spine. But again, if you just want to focus in on those hips, by all means, take any variation that feels good to you. Every inhale, we're lengthening. Every exhale, just feel the weight of the body, the breath, gravity draw you down toward the ground. Release into that left hip. And again, we could hold it here or release here for quite a long time more. So if this feels good, by all means, you can go back into it after the class and just hang out there for an extra couple of minutes. So these restorative poses can be held from 2 to 5 minutes. Again, after that, you're not really getting anything. But again, we only do these when we've already activated and mobilized the body, where we're already strong, we're already mobile, we're already open. Last couple of breaths. Release with that exhale. And then wherever we're at, we're going to gently tuck the chin in, walk back up onto the hands, up onto the fingertips. We can stay here for the last couple of breaths in our pigeon pose. If you want to bring a quad stretch into it, tuck that right toe under, draw the knee about 4 inches forward. Right hand comes to the center of the mat. We're going to bend the right knee, extend the left arm out to the side, and then reach back to catch hold of that foot. Again, we're pressing the foot into the hand, heel moves toward the bum, or we might even bring that hand over the foot and see if we can bend the elbow up toward the ceiling. We can bring a twist into it by looking back toward the foot over that left shoulder. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release that right foot down. Both hands come back to the front of the mat. Flattening out through the hands, we're going to tuck that right toe under, lift off the right knee, and then gently draw that left foot back to meet right. Nice and easy, walking it out in our downward dog. And then from here, we're going to lower down onto the knees, untuck the toes. We're going to bring the knees about the width of the mat apart, big toes to touch. And then just making a little pillow with the hands or piling one fist on top of the other and resting the forehead down. And we're just going to gently press the sit bones back toward the heels as we gently rock the hips side to side. So just feel that nice little bit of space in the lower back, the hips, little release into the glutes. And then come to stillness here. We'll just take a few cleansing breaths. I want you to inhale, tighten up into all the muscles within the body. And as you exhale, just sigh it out, let it go. And just feel the body, the mind switch off. Wherever we're at, we're going to gently tuck the chin in, walk the hands back toward the body as we sit back up onto the heels. And then we can either finish sitting back onto the heels or easy cross-legged, legs extended, whatever feels good for you. So just come into any comfy seat for you. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling and we'll finish with 3 active closing breaths. So again, just nice bit of space into the chest, length into the spine, feel that core engaged, feel that extra bit of space within the body. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up, interlocking fingers, exhale, sigh it forward, release. 2 more like that. Gaze goes up as we inhale and sigh it out, release. Last one. And then gently bring the hands to heart center, pressing the palms together.